My name is Anthony Lorenzo. I'm with the Better Ballot for Democrats and Republicans. I think most of us, when we really look at it objectively, we can see lots of instances where we feel frustrated with voices from both sides, and we feel like we need another option. Cincinnati committee. We're the main proponents for proportional representation. Our coalition is very diverse. We have a number of leaders in the community, including Marion Spencer, Bobby Stern, Jim Tarbell has endorsed, Christopher Smitherman, the NAACP have endorsed, Progressive Action Network, United States PIRG, Public Interest Research Group, Ohio Common Cause, Bill Woods has endorsed. I know we're supposed to be impartial here. We also, we feel that there's a real problem in Cincinnati's election system currently. The 9X system allows 45% to 50% of the population to show up and vote for the same 9 candidates and win all 9 seats, leaving almost half the community with no voice on council that really represents their interests. That's a serious problem. It also doesn't allow you to elect your favorite candidate. It doesn't allow you to pick who the candidate is you like the most, the one that shares your values, the one that really represents the interests that matter to you, that represents your neighborhood. Proportional representation can accomplish all those things. You get to pick your first choice, your second choice, and so on. And your vote counts for your favorite candidate. Not 1 out of 9 that you don't like as much as the rest of them, but your favorite. And if you're part of a significant voting bloc in this community, 10% of the voters, your first choice will be elected to city council. You will have a voice that matches your values perfectly. What we're talking about and what this proposal is about is better representation. We want better representation of neighborhoods. If a neighborhood wants to get together and elect an activist or a community leader from their particular neighborhood, the last election in 2007, 60,000 voters participated, 29% turnout. Horrible. 6,000 votes is what you need to elect 1 seat in proportional representation. If you can mobilize 6,000 people in your community to represent your neighborhood and rank that same candidate as your first choice, you can achieve the same effects of districts through proportional representation. You can also vote along partisan lines. You can support the party, the group that shares your ideology. Historically, what we saw was, and this discussion unfortunately has devolved to the point where it's just about race and women getting fair representation, and that's true. We absolutely know that through mountains of research. But what we also know is that unions had a seat on city council. In other communities in Ohio, Catholics won their first seat on council. All these little interest groups that are minority voting blocs can achieve fair representation in this system. Some of the opposition has brought up some points about districts. Now, what's wrong with districts? I think we've forgotten our history here in Cincinnati in talking about districts. And I think it's kind of ironic that it's Democrats bringing this forward today. What happened when we had districts in 1923 was the Republican Party was in control of Cincinnati. Now, I want to say for the record, we are strictly nonpartisan. We don't support any particular party. This is all about facts and knowing our history and where we come from. The Republican Party bosses is what Charter called it. This was an effort to bring proportional representation, was to break up the Republican Party boss control in Cincinnati. They had 55% of the vote in the previous election prior to proportional representation, yet they won 6 seats on city council, or 66%. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm reading what happened in proportional representation. They had 55% of the vote in 1923, and they won 97%, or all 9 seats on city council. 55% controlled 100% of the representation. That's exactly what happens with this 9X system and districts. It's unfair. It doesn't produce an accurate reflection of the people. The first proportional representation election, excuse me, Republicans had 27.8% of the vote, yet they won 3 seats, a fair reflection of the people. Charter, in fact, had 66% of the representation after that election and won a fair share. We also achieved having more diversity in our community. another party to choose from when we felt a serious frustration with the Democratic